What's up, Dub Nation? We're closing in on 23,000 subscribers, and once we get there, we're paying homage to the great Draymond Green. So if you want the best Warriors news and rumors coverage right here on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, and let's hop into today's show. It is Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Coming up on today's show, Stephen A. Smith thinks that when Klay Thompson comes back, Golden State can win the NBA championship, and Steph Curry is raving about Gary Payton II and the defensive intensity he brought the Warriors last night in a win against the Sacramento Kings. But first, we start off with all of this talk about whether or not the Warriors can win the NBA title. This is something that I've personally been talking about for a long time, and I've said it all kind of hinges on the health of Klay Thompson, who's supposed to come back in December or January. And once he does return, I think an already deep Warriors team is going to be even deeper, even more lethal, and be very, very dangerous in the Western Conference. Shoot, right now, this is a really dangerous Warriors team that has gotten off to a perfect 3-0 start to start off the 2021-2022 NBA campaign. They just completed the California sweep season opener, a 121-114 win against the Lakers, a team with title aspirations. So too to the Los Angeles Clippers, who are, of course, without Kawhi Leonard, but still nonetheless, Steph Curry goes off in a 115-113 win over the Clippers. And then last night on Sunday, everybody was focusing in on some football in the NFL slate, but the Warriors moving to a perfect 3-0 record with a convincing 119-107 victory against the Sacramento Kings. Here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say on First Take on Friday about the Warriors and their championship hopes and what he thinks this team can accomplish, as it seems as though the Warriors rejuvenated, re-energized, very, very confident in the early going. He said this: if Klay Thompson comes back healthy, the Warriors might win it all. I really mean it. I'm not playing with anybody. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God ever created. Those are facts. I don't care what anybody else says. There has never, ever, ever been a dude off the dribble, standing still, from the key, from the wings, from the corner, 20, 30, 40 feet, and sometimes 50. This brother is unbelievable, okay? When I think about him, and I think about Klay coming back, who is one of the top 5 shooters in the history of basketball, then we think about the rest of this crew. I'm looking at Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins. He's no slouch. He has shown up this far. I'm thinking about James Wiseman coming back. I'm thinking about the pickup of Otto Porter Jr., who coaches have been telling me they've been raving about him. And I've been raving about the roster construction for Golden State and kind of how Bob Myers handled the NBA free agency period. I loved what Golden State did in the offseason to put together a roster that, of course, has some star-studded talent, led by Steph Curry, coming off a near MVP campaign and the scoring title, as well as Draymond Green. I've always said Andrew Wiggins is overpaid but underrated. Draymond Green has taken a little bit of a step forward offensively, and you know he's going to be a first-team all-defensive caliber player. And then some of the other complementary pieces on this roster, really good pieces to add to the equation to compete for a championship in a Western Conference that is no doubt going to be competitive from top to bottom, but also wide open, because I'm not sure there's a clear favorite. Could it be Golden State? Stephen A. Smith seems to think so. So what do you all think, Dub Nation? Your opportunity to chime in and voice your opinions on the subject matter. Do you think the Warriors can win the title? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section down below. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down, get your votes in, and then scroll back up. Some of my takeaways from this 3-0 beginning of the season for Golden State: Steph has been going off. I talk about his monster performance against the Clippers when he was just going off for a 40-plus point piece. But this year so far, he's really had an all-around game, which I think is really, really impressive, averaging 31 points, 9 boards, and 7 dimes per night. Jordan Poole's preseason and all of the hype that he had generated has translated to the regular season so far, averaging 17 points per night. Draymond Green, what do you know? Still a very, very good player. Steve Kerr has harped on him doing more offensively, which I think he has done here in the early going, but he's always going to bring you excellent defensive intangibles. Andrew Wiggins now, because this roster is deeper and has a lot of quality depth pieces, is in the perfect role. Look, Yes, he was drafted high by the Cleveland Cavaliers and then traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Everybody thought he was going to be the next great player in the league. He's not made out for that role. You know which role he's made out for? It's the Harrison Barnes role, and that's what he's fulfilling right now. I think it's perfect for him. And then some of those depth pieces. How about the emergence and the play of Damian Lee here so far? Nemanja Bjelica coming off the bench to be a stretch 4 and 5. He's given this team quality minutes. And then Otto Porter Jr. doing the same on a veteran minimum contract. So those are some of the guys who have impressed me. Who has impressed you the most so far as the Warriors are out to this terrific 3-0 start to the season? Just drop me a name or names right down below in the comment section. Warriors Today is presented to you today by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. This is the best deal that any sportsbook has to offer. And if you enter that link, chatsports.com/bet, and that promo code chat125, you get a 125% deposit bonus. It doesn't matter where you live, that deal will apply if you put in that link as well as that promo code. If you want to put down some bets, I've been laying down some money on NFL games all season, some NBA as well. You can do so too thanks to BetUS. Here are the odds to win the West. The Lakers somehow still at plus 175, first in odds to win the Western Conference. But there you see Golden State at plus 450. Pretty good odds considering how well they've played so far. The Clippers, Suns, Jazz, all at plus 650. Lay some money down, put down the lettuce, make some bets, chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code at chat125. Next up on the docket for today's show, the Golden State Warriors organization, as well as some of the marquee players like Steph Curry, are really excited to have Gary Payton II back on the team. Now, originally he didn't make the roster coming out of NBA training camp and the preseason, but then Golden State signed him to that final 15 spot on the roster. And last night against the Kings, not only did he get a lot of minutes, which I think is very important for this team, he played very well and turned the heads of a lot of people, but his performance didn't come as a surprise to guys like Steph Curry. Last night, 17 minutes, 10 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 2 from deep, and this isn't a guy who's going to play for you night in and night out. But when he performs like this, it makes his role very valuable, considering the fact that this guy is going to get all up in your face defensively and brings you a lot of defensive ability and intensity. Steph Curry really excited about what Gary Payton II is bringing to the table. Of course, he's been with this organization before, including last year. When asked if he was excited that Gary Payton II claimed that 15th and final roster spot, Steph Curry said 1,000%. Then he expanded on those thoughts. Defensively, he gives us an edge, and then he knocked down 2 threes, speaking of that Kings win, which was huge. If he's going to get open shots, he has to take them. We just want him to stay locked in, stay competitive, and stay focused on when his moment comes and show that he can do it. As for what Monte Poole of NBC Sports Bay Area had to say about the reacquisition of Payton coming back to the Bay Area, I thought this was pretty interesting because in training camp, he beat out the likes of Avery Bradley as well as a Jordan Bell. And Monte Poole, who does a terrific job covering this team, said this: when Avery Bradley, signed with the Lakers, the Warriors coaching staff, teeth gritted and fingers crossed, had hoped that Payton would not land elsewhere and that management would relent. He remained available and the Warriors pounced. That goes to show you that this coaching staff and the players within this roster really wanted Gary Payton II back on the team. Now, you might be watching saying, Chase, we're talking about the 15th and final roster spot. These spots on the roster are very important when you were trying to win a championship. Because honestly, in an 82-game regular season schedule, which we're now back to for the first time in a couple of years, it takes everybody on that roster to help contribute to a championship team. So to show some love to Gary Payton II, because Steph Curry has already shown his love to GP2, this is what I want you all to do before we get out of here. Go into the comment section and type GP2, show him some love, and thanks for watching today's show.